adversely affect the climate system, as well as the legal consequences arising from the breach of these obligations. In this regard, the Court is further of the view that the relevant conduct for the purposes of these advisory proceedings is not limited to conduct that itself directly result in GHG emissions, but rather comprises all actions or omissions of states which result in the climate system and other parts of the environment being adversely affected by anthropogenic GHG emissions.
My journey of the climate structural communication was started in 2021 with a glass of water with the impact of the thunderstorm role of the policy maker and also the government decisions regarding climate solution and the impact of the world, what is actually going on the future sustainable solution regarding climate threat and also the 8 billion lifestyles. After 5 years of the struggle with the crisis of the climate threats, the world's highest court provided us with a powerful new tool to protect people from the devastating impact of the climate crisis and to deliver justice for the harm their emissions which have already caused. It was a discussion of the International Court of Justice with the world's highest knowledge with the impact of the 193 countries' involvement with the conclusion of the impact of the 147 countries with the solution that what should be the measures for the upcoming days of the climate solution. If a country fails to control the climate effects, it will become a violation of the International Court of Justice.
The Court takes into consideration the rules, principles, mechanisms and institutions established under the climate change treaties in order to identify and clarify the obligation of the parties. In this context, the key principles that permeate all three climate change treaties are those contained in Article 3 of the Framework Convention. These guiding principles include common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities, the precautionary approach of principle, sustainable development, equity, and intergenerational equity.
The climate crisis is an existential problem of planetary proportions that impairs all forms of life and the very health of our planet. The failure of a state to take appropriate action to protect the climate system may constitute an international wrongful act. It was a complete strong advisory judgment from the International Court of Justice regarding the crisis of the global situation of the climate threats and the upcoming solution and the management of the litigation from climate crisis statement. But the oil-based countries already was in the negative solutions regarding the crisis statement of the climate threats from United States, from Iran, from UAE was in negative regarding the discussions of the advisory role and the discussion of the stage of the International Court of Justice. And it was the situation of 147 countries already in the voting process regarding this year's the crucial, powerful statement of International Court of Justice. A structural law of the communication can save million lives. It was my propaganda and the vision for last 5 years for the million lifestyle. It was my particular vision that climate litigation should impose immediately for 193 countries who are under the crisis of the climate structured communication and also the regular climate threats and unusual climate calamities. It was a discussion of the CO2 emissions and the controlling of the energy emissions, also the CO2 emission controlling and during the war scenario, and also the situation of the upcoming development of the agriculture market, of the food security, and also the crisis statement management of the health development.